Have you ever listened to Hardcore History?
Oh yeah, I love hardcore history. I go
Yeah,
to sleep to
well,
hardcore history.
yeah, it's the kind of podcast I want to create, something people go to sleep to.
Yeah, well. So we're trying to start a wine business when the wine industry's failing.
You know what? I watched something the other day on Instagram. Everybody keeps talking about how the wine business is failing. I have to educate you on some of these things in the wine business. So, there's a really famous master of wine. Her name is Jancis Robinson. Have you heard of her?
No, I haven't heard of her.
Okay, don't ever tell anyone that again.
Janice
She,
Robertson?
Jancis, not Janice,
Jancis.
Jancis Robinson.
Okay. Yanis Robertson.
Okay, so she does a recap of the state of the wine industry with somebody else on Instagram. Her name is Samantha. And one of the takeaways from it was that the wine business is down, guess how much, between 2023 and 2024?
18%.
2.6%. So all of the blah, blah, I'm looking and and seeing the numbers
Yeah,
I'm
but
seeing, these
with the
numbers. Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say with when I look at my investments and things, people freak out about, a percentage down because that often is your margin of profit and things.
Sure, I get that. But where this number is coming from is reporting from Silicon Valley Bank, which does a State of the Union basically every year. And they survey small wineries like me and Peter, but they also take
Mhm.
Nielsen data from grocery stores. And so a lot of this is coming from Nielsen data from grocery stores, but also from self-reporting. Peter and I stopped filling out this survey altogether because what we realized was a question would be like, how many people between the ages of 22 and 30 are visiting your tasting room? And I would go, I don't know, 15%.
Right.
It was guessing. I mean, how many wineries really have the hard data to support some of these assertions? And one of those is, of course, what we keep hearing, which is like young people aren't drinking, they're drinking White Claw or they're cannabis, psilocybin. I think some of this is just anecdotal. And the one category that seems to be kind of holding is, I think it was between 12 and $30. It was either that or between 20 and $30. But so
Right.
anything like below $12 or above 30 isn't necessarily doing, let's say, more than they were last year, but maybe just they're a couple of a percent down. So Wineslut, when we talk about building a wine company, it is like, why would we choose to do that right now? I don't, part of me feels like it's hard to build a wine company because I'm already trying to build a different wine company, right? Something that's altogether separate. But Wineslut sits in this $22 to $25 price range. We are trying to follow trends. Whereas the other winery I have, Holus Bolus and the Joy Fantastic, we don't. We have a vineyard, so what's planted is planted. We can't move with the market. But I feel like Wineslut can move with the market a little.
Yeah.
So I guess to your question, like, why are we trying to build a wine brand when the wine business is in the toilet? One, I don't really think the wine business is in the toilet. And two, I think that we've chosen the right price point anyway. Like, we're not building a luxury wine brand.
Yeah, I think the more interesting question for me at this stage is like, why are you trying to build this wine business? You, right now, you already have a wine business.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to build a wine business. I wanted to have a TV show.
So you're building a wine business so that you can back into a TV show about your life called Wine Slut, basically.
Yes. No, you and I did our pilot and our TV show and we shot it and it was amazing and we had the best time. And then one of the things that we kept hearing from people was Wine Slut, what a great brand. Oh my God, that I love that name. And we heard it over and over again to where I thought, oh, we should make some wine. And
Yeah.
then the way Wine Slut got started wasn't that we made any wine at all. It's that I went to a friend's winery. Sometimes Peter and I go and we taste around with our friends, lots of winemakers that we're friends with in the valley. And he showed me some rosé. We tasted it. I said, oh my God, this rosé is great. And he said, actually, I'm going to sell it because the wine business is down and I don't have a home for it. I can't sell all of this wine. And I said, well, don't sell it to somebody else. Sell it to me. Like, I can do something with this. And this is where this idea behind creating a different kind of wine business, meaning one where we don't actually make the wine, but I reach out to the community and to my friends who are making wine and say, what have you made that's great? What don't you want? What can I take and bring to my winery and do some blending, or figure out if there's wine that Peter and I made that can be, added to that blend to make it, I don't know, in the right flavor profile, which for Wineslut is like fresh, fruity, affordable, and tends to be grape varieties that aren't used in like classic traditional winemaking. Like the white is Vermentino, Trebbiano, Sauvignon Blanc. The red is, okay, this year it's half Gamay and half Pinot Noir. But before that, it was Malbec and Mourvedre. And these are wines, even grapes, if we start making wine, which we kind of did in 2024. We made some Gruner Veltliner that may go into the Wineslut white. So it was kind of like, honestly, why I want to do it. It's just more fun. What Peter and I are doing, it's just like, you feel like you're losing money constantly on the vineyard. Our rent just got raised 25%. Just for Holus Bolus and the Joy Fantastic. The idea behind Wineslut is that we choose wine, it gets blended and it's bottled. Everything happens somewhere else. Like, I don't want to build another traditional wine brand. I've already done that and it's exhausting. So this is a different way to do it. But I mean, I don't know how to do anything else. So I may as well build a wine brand. I mean, you at least know how to make a movie or a TV show. But that is the goal. The goal is to have an empire.
I feel like that's how we came together, is because you wanted to make a TV show, and I have some experience there, but to me that felt a little daunting. But for you, it was a lot of fun. And for me, starting to think about Wineslut as a brand and actually putting it out in the world seemed really fun. It's probably a little more daunting for you. And I think that's why we sort of came together and made like a nice team here. I hope. I like just when we talk to people about the wine itself, just sort of the fun, the joy that comes over people's faces, and then then they taste it and they actually like it and it's really good. And I like being able to hold it. I like being able to go home at night and being like, this is something that we can make. This is something we can push. We can do. We can talk about it. It's exciting to talk about something that we believe in, that we know is good. Whereas conversely, trying to sell someone on a TV show idea is like banging your head against a wall until your nose bleeds. Um,
I thought you liked
Even
that
if it's
kind
the
of
best.
thing.
I do. I love that. Yeah. But no. So I agree with you. I think it's an exciting opportunity, and like we're trying to build this, and we're trying to, I feel like we're trying to raise some money so that we can like put all of this energy and effort into it, more with more focus and fire. Which is right now it's difficult because we are doing other things. We do have other jobs. That's the biggest challenge, right? What's our plan if we don't raise money? Because it's going to be a 5-year slow rollout until things start cascading on top of themselves. Like, what is in your head? What's the roadmap?
How much money do you have in your savings?
Well, after this lawsuit that I'm facing with
Oh, shit.
my previous place, no, I don't know. Like, what do you think we would need? Like, I guess here's the question: is like clearly one of the things we talked about, which I think we can be very honest about, is like we're trying to set up a system where we can be paid, right away. Because if we can be paid right away and support ourselves and our families, then we can put everything we've got, split blood and tears, into it and make it happen. Um, if we don't raise money or bring in other investors, what is that? What is that point where the sales and inventory things like that actually sort of turn into a way to like? I mean, like, do we know that number? Like, that seems like there's probably like, how does that even happen? Do we even talk about that?
We've never talked about this. Do we know that number? I can tell you what's going on with what goes on with me and Peter. Can I talk about this,
Yeah.
Peter? Money? So I'm not really sure what that was. I'll cut this if he says that I
Yeah.
can't use it. So Peter and I have been making wine 20 years. I had a job for the first 17 years, and it's only been the last 3 years that I've gotten paid. The only way that I was able to get paid was that we moved our business model from wholesale to predominantly DTC. And that happened by taking what was a big risk for us, which was opening a tasting room and finding a space, paying rent, not being sure anyone was going to come in, and then building up Wine Club. We went from 50 Wine Club members, maybe less than that, in 2019 to 500 Wine Club members. We think we've just crossed the 500 wine club member mark. That was the point to where Peter and I could get paid, but we're only each getting paid about $80,000 a year right now. That honestly, I don't know how this is. I don't care how this sounds. It's not really a livable wage in California for a family. You have two kids that you have to take care
Yeah.
of. I have lots of Botox that I have to pay for. There's like, we have expenses, in other words.
Yeah.
So
Wait, let me interrupt you. So it was
yeah,
500 wine club members. That's what's enabling you guys to pay yourselves? Is the other business, all of the cases you put in retail and restaurants, is if that went to zero, but you still maintain the 500 wine club members and also the tasting room, would that still enable you to pay yourselves?
no, my salary would get cut. There is wholesale representation, but honestly, our distribution right now isn't great. We are like struggling in the international market right now a little bit, only because the UK has been really down in their wine sales. We also lost our importer in Korea who used to take a couple of pallets of wine a year. So those things all affects us. The difference with Wineslut is the idea was like we wouldn't have the overhead that Peter and I
Mhm.
have, which like just in rent every month, let's say somewhere around $7,000 a month just paying rent. It might even be a little bit more than that, not including utilities. We would hope whoever we work with, we could partner with. The wine, bottling, everything is included for somewhere around the price point of, let's say, no more than $80 a case. And then
Mhm.
from that, we can slowly start to build our margin in. But you need it all. Like we
Yeah.
need national distribution. We mostly need California distribution, which I haven't really been seeking because I want to find the right partner. I don't want to like sign with somebody. It's not really like that, but I don't want to put all my eggs in a basket and have nobody sell the wine. I guess I'm scared. I guess I'm a little scared. Sometimes I still get scared about what people think about the name.
Yeah.
I did have this guy come in the other day and he was like, I don't know how you can wear slut on your chest or something. And I was like, oh, I did an Amy's Tasting Room Diaries. That's one of the things he said. We're just all allowed to say slut now. And I was like, I'm allowed to say slut as much as I want. Slut, slut, slut. So,
Yeah.
I do get nervous. And so I'm scared to put it out there. I did, just for the record, put Wineslut out to Skurnik, which is maybe one of the best distributors in the US. And I was turned down. I feel like they didn't say it, but I feel like they turned it down from the name. But they also, I don't know this for sure, maybe are a little snobby. That's the wrong word. Maybe are a little hesitant in the way the wine business is now, with everybody wants like a natural wine, that they're hesitant to go for a negociant project, which is what Wineslut is. The way I've framed it to you and to other people, because I really feel this is true. I sold Burgundy for a long time with Veritas Imports and with Kermit Lynch. And the way that Burgundy used to be made prior to 1960 was that growers would grow the grapes, they would crush them, at least begin the fermentation process, and then sell barrels of wine. And those barrels of wine would be finished at another winery. Well, I love this idea. I love the idea that I'm going to my friends' wineries, I'm tasting, I'm blending from one friend to another or bringing it back to us. Peter and I have hand bottled every single bottle of Wineslut so far, except the sparkling. And there's something about that that doesn't feel cheap or shitty, the way I feel like people can look at negociant projects and say, Amy's just going out there and buying bulk wine and bottling it, because that is not what we are doing. We are not just buying bulk wine and bottling it. This is it is a labor of love. I'm slightly protective of this idea of being a negociant. It's also the only way we can make any money. I feel
Yeah.
like people like, they care if restaurants make money. They care if retailers make money. Like nobody ever asks if a winery is making money.
Yeah. Have you guys have you thought about what about getting a beer distributor in California who also might dabble in some wine, because they might be more open to the name as a start. And they always, I heard something, I don't know if you told me, I think you told me once that like a lot of restaurants and hotels and things often have really bad wine because they're really just buying the liquor and the beer, and then they take whatever wine they're kind of given from that distributor. What if we had a cool beer distributor who, you know, is very passionate about beer, so not just sort of a big, retail place that just pushes their liquor, but like, what I'm saying, like who pushes really
Yeah.
craft beers and things, and then as a way to start.
Well, beer isn't, it's not sold separately from wine. So people who have wine books also carry beer. It's not like there's beer distributors or wine distributors. There might be some that are more into craft beer, like you're saying, but for the most part, most people are not supporting themselves, a distributor, I mean, on just beer sales, unless they're selling
Okay.
Heineken or Stella. And those are with
Right.
huge distributors like Southern Wine and Spirits. The hope is that we go from, you and I've done the math on this, we go from the 500 cases that we're making right now to 25,000 cases, which seems to be the magic number for not only us making money, but having a national salesperson, to having a marketing person, where we're all at least making 100 grand a year. Like that's the goal. So the way that we've broken up that 25,000 cases is that 30% is sold FOB, right, outside of the state of California, outside of the country. Another 30% or a third is sold in California to retailers and restaurants. And then another 33% is sold DTC through a tasting room and through Wine Club. That 25,000 cases is what gets us to being able to not only pay ourselves, but to actually build like a commercially viable company.
Right.
So how do we do that?
Let me ask you a question. So this is not really for this podcast, but so like it sounds like you're kind of doing like our pitch, I guess, which is great. Like, who's the audience for this? I guess is my
I don't
question.
know. I'm not doing our pitch. This is how I talk to people in the tasting room.
Yeah. Okay. Um,
I think you always think that I'm sounding like that
no,
I'm not
no,
me,
no, no,
but I'm
no,
just
no, no,
okay.
no, no. You're totally being you. I guess I'm trying to figure out how I can make this interesting from my end to like from me contributing because clearly I sound like an idiot a little bit
You
with
don't
my
sound like an
questions.
idiot at all. It's exactly like I'm bringing up the beer distributor. This is a
Okay.
question that somebody else, like Peter and I get asked all the time. The people that want to, oh, I love your life. I want to start a winery. This is always what I've wanted to do, but they don't know anything about it. And you're kind of in that
Yeah.
state right now. You're like, well, let's go with the beer distributor, and I'm just telling you that they're really not separate. But so I think you're asking questions that somebody who's listening to this, who might actually be listening to this because they want to start a wine venture, would be like, oh, now I know that they're not
Right.
separate. You know?
I think what I meant is you just said you went to a very nice premier wine
Correct.
distributor, and I guess my thought was like, what if you went to someone where wine wasn't their main interest in a way, but they're like, oh, that's cute, and we have a very
Hmm.
substantial beer and liquor business or something or whatever. I don't know if those exist. I was just thinking like, could that be a way that you slip in Wine Slut into a decent book where their focus is somewhere else, but then you get it out there? That was really
Yeah.
kind of how I wanted to frame the question. But maybe those don't
Yeah.
exist.
There's
I don't know.
there's a company now that is it's a wine company who's interested in me and Peter. We're already distributed through a company called Revel. Um, but I haven't had the balls to say, hey, I know you're interested in repping Holus Bolus and the Joy Fantastic, but would you be willing to take Wine Slut? I don't know why I'm scared to ask. I mean, I really don't know. I don't know if I'm scared of being rejected. I don't know if I'm scared they're going to be like, Wine Slut. No, we can't sell that name because, again, it's a company that's owned by dudes. And for whatever
Yeah.
reason, we've offered Wine Slut to Revel. Revel said no, because they didn't feel like it was the climate that a company owned by two men could sell Wine Slut. What I hope is that name won't hinder us, but you make a really good point. Like there has to be someone kind of alternative out there who's hungry that would be interested in selling Wine Slut wholesale.
I
And
mean,
that,
it's
like,
worth
I don't,
asking. I think
it
if you're
is.
prepared, you're going to get a lot of no's because it is a aggressive name. And I would think you're mostly going to get no's until you get the one person who thinks like us. And it's like, wow, that's kind of interesting. And that's the person you want. I would think, but you can't be afraid. You got to just. I think you got to just present it, right? And then I think you have to be okay with saying if they say no, say, is it the name? Like honestly,
Right.
like because let's find out.
Right.
It's not. It's probably there's a million reasons. The name probably has something to do with it, but I almost feel like the person who's going to take this is going to take it primarily because of the name. They're going to see an opportunity there, like we do, unless we're crazy, which maybe we are. But I would ask it, especially since this person is already interested in you guys. I don't think you're going to burn a relationship or anything if that's your fear. Is your fear that like burning a relationship where they're more interested in Holus Bolus or
No, because we already have distribution, so I'm not like worried about losing that.
I would say ask them
Yeah. I
and then
think
be
after
like,
Skurnik turned me down because Skurnik was like a dream. It was kind of like, oh my God, if we could get into the Skurnik book, we'd be set because we'd be distributed nationally. They have such a great reputation. But they said no. So they're not the right book for us. If they were
yeah,
they would have said yes.
yeah. And the
It's my
and those kind of
ego.
people, yeah, and those kind of people, might come back in the future. Like, I feel like this is a very common thing. I feel like half the success stories that we read on some of those alternative brands that were eventually bought by like Budweiser and whoever else. Like Budweiser was not interested in year one.
Hmm.
You know, later they became interested once it proved that there was an interest out there in success. It's like when I think I've told you this before, when you ask somebody what you think, you write a screenplay in the movie business, and you give it to a producer, and you say, what did you think of my script? And they say, I don't know, I'm the only one that's read it so far.
Wait, what does that mean? Like they
Because
liked
no
it,
one,
but they
because they can't, no one can say they know they like something until other people like something. They don't know if
got
they
it.
like it or not, you know?
Got it.
I don't know. Like, but if a lot of people like it, then I love it. I feel like in a way, if we really want to make this wine slut thing happen, if there is no conflict with Holus Bolus, I'm sure Peter's hairs are sticking up on the back of his head in the other
He
room.
can't hear you because I have my
Oh,
earphones in, so
okay.
don't worry about
But
that.
if there is no conflict, we have to kind of be fearless,
Hmm.
And it's something I always try to tell myself with regards to like sending material out, scripts out, things like that. I'm often scared because you're afraid someone's not going to like it. Most people don't like anything. You try to find the right, perfect person to send it to, and then you try to think, how could I phrase this? And the truth is, you just got to send it. You just got to send it out there and talk about it and be passionate. And a lot of people are going to say no, and eventually one person will say, "This is interesting." Kind of like how we're talking to Warren about his guy that he knows who has some money who might be interested in a project like this. It's like he doesn't quite he's a little concerned about the name. He's asked about it a
Hmm.
couple times, right? But he doesn't know. But he's also like, this is really cool. I also can't stop thinking about it. I wonder if this guy I know with money will also you know want to like stop not stop thinking about it. And I think these are the kind of questions we will get from anyone who's interested in giving us money. Is they're going to have the same question because they're going to go to their friends and say, "Hey, I might invest in this thing called Wineslut," and half their friends are going to be like, "That sounds what? Are you serious? You can't say that." And then the other half are going to be like, "That sounds really cool," and they're going to have to decide which side they're on. Do you know? And it's just
Hmm.
going to be whoever they have dinner with the night before. We have our meeting is going to probably be the determinative factor whether we get money or not from them.
Right.
So but I think we should know. I think you should, if you should, since this is not just a blind submission in a way. So someone who's interested and likes you and knows you, show it to them, talk to them about it. And if they have hesitations, it's not for them. Say, hey, can we talk about it? I'd love to know. Like, is it the name? Like, tell me honestly, and then talk through it. Be like, we're going to show you. We're going to come back to you. We're building this, whether we find the right person or not, because it's already being built. We're already selling it. We're already selling out of everything we've got. I want to know like if it's just the name, I want to be able to come back to you in the future when we can prove that the name's not going to be a block. Do you know what I mean? I don't know,
Right.
and just see what
Right.
they say
Like, is it
because
the
we should know.
name?
Yeah,
Is it
if
the fact that it's a negotiant project? Like maybe they
yeah,
don't like that. Maybe they don't like that it's female run.
yeah, maybe it's all
That's a
three.
joke.
Right. Well, nobody likes it's female run, but of course
Obviously.
they love that it's female run. Um, I know that when we talk to Warren, who's someone who's trying to hook us up with some money, I guess this Warren's just a random name to someone who's listening. You have such a great way of presenting what it is in the brand and really yourself. And as Warren said, like you're really selling yourself. Like we're selling you. Like someone's going to buy into you. They're not going to buy into me. Like I'm just sort of the guy who's like beside you. But like they're really buying into you. And I feel like if you put that same effort into this distributor, like they already like you, have this conversation with them and be as passionate as you are now. And let's just see what they say.
Yeah. More like a wine whore selling
Yeah,
myself.
exactly.
Okay. All right. I guess to be continued because I'll set up a call. I hate this. I get like sick to my stomach, but I'll do it anyway. I know we
What
have to do it because we have some
what do
wine
you
to
need?
sell
What how
because yeah.
Yeah, how could I help? Is there anything you send along that would I definitely, I know I've been saying this for months. I have to redo the website. I
I
just
think the
need
website's
to
fine.
No, I want to make it. I really want to make it more e-commerce friendly and e-commerce focused. Uh, like I want you to go to the website and immediately be hit with a store with other stuff, but a store like many other brands. Like if we go to Momofuku and stuff, like you're immediately hit with a way to purchase things right away, and you're still getting the flavor and the story and everything else. But right now our site is very it's just not that, and I want to turn into that, and I can't turn into that. I need to make the time to do that. But it's been on my mind. I got to do it the next like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not talking about a major rebrand, but just a slightly refocus to make it ecom centric and to feel a little more professional.
Yeah, for a distributor, that doesn't matter. They don't care for ecom
Okay.
centric because, well, they want the opposite of that. They want
Yeah.
to sell it. They don't want
Right.
us to sell it. So
Right.
as long as I'm going to go back and look at it, as long as the story seems to be there. But again, like one of the lead salespeople for this company, I already know. I've known him for 20 years, and we sold wine. I'd run into him in the market all the time, so he knows me well. So that's the thing that is going to have to play in our favor. Like what bums me out about our current broker Revel in California is that they also know me really well, but it bummed me out that they wouldn't that they wouldn't just be
A
like, you know what,
flyer.
we know you, we
Yeah.
love you. Let's just take a chance on this because we believe in you.
Yeah.
I know that they would say, oh, the market's so hard right now, blah, blah, blah. But I don't have huge expectations. I'm not asking for people to take 100 cases of wine right now. I want to
Yeah.
partner. I want to build it with somebody. I want to do work with.
Yeah.
I want to go out into the market. I'm not asking you for a favor. We're all making
Right.
money on this. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
not
Right.
asking you not to make money. So I guess that's actually, now that I tell myself that, that's kind of what I need to think about when I'm going to ask somebody to sell the wine. Like I'm not groveling in front of you, please take my little wine brand.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm a fucking master of wine. I'm
Yeah.
really thoughtful about what we put into the bottle. I'm a thoughtful person in general. I want you to succeed. I want to succeed. Like, let's be partners in this. And now I'm building myself up, if you can't tell. I'm really giving myself a pep talk here.
Yeah.
But I think a partnership is the way I want to phrase it. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not just like
Yeah.
going to dump this wine in someone's lap and say, sell it. You have to sell it.
Yeah.
Like I want to do like what we're doing in Montana with our distributor there, who's been absolutely amazing. And we're going to Montana in March to kind of help them sell the wine and to promote the brand. And I mean, I would
Wineslut.
love for Wineslut. Well,
Yeah.
and Holus Bolus too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Cool.
little bit of everything.
Yeah. When are you going?
We don't have dates yet. Probably sometime in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right. I would like to talk next time about, I want you to talk more about investment. Maybe we can even go through the deck and like look at the deck and talk about how you build a deck to try to get an investor.
Okay.
I hope that we can play our conversation with Warren too, if you would let
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Maybe you can ask him.
Okay. Cool.
All right. This
All
is
right.
the end of Constructing Wineslut E1.
Yeah. Good talk. Let's make it happen. Do it. So you gonna call tomorrow? This other distributor. What's the name of this distributor?
I'm not going to say.